hard to work.
This is just for to share.
Island is not the
No, to do the drop down, it's just click the green thing, not now. Later.
What were we supposed to do?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thanks, everyone. Welcome to a regular meeting of the Goldendale City Council. Nice hearing all the kids recite the Pledge of Allegiance with us. Thank you. Shelley, would you please take roll call?
Johnson,
Here.
Neil Wheeler. I'm on Zoom, but. Lauren,
Yes.
Okay.
Ellie Casey,
Here.
Danielle Seviden,
Here,
and Andy and Mylan are both gone.
Yes, we received word from Andy that he's not well tonight and Myland is out of town for a meeting. Do we have a motion to excuse Myland and Andy?
motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to excuse Myland and Andy. Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Thanks. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. Public comment. Would anybody like to make a public comment on an agenda topic? Nobody in person? Does anybody have their hand up online? No? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's approval of the agenda and the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda and the consent agenda?
so moved.
You second, Steve?
Oh, you made the motion?
Yeah, Danielle made the motion.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda or consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay, great. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. We have a presentation from the FFA. Welcome. And please step up to the podium and we can start your presentation. We have it in our packet and we're also gonna put it up on the screen here.
Yeah.
Ready to go there?
Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Pittman, and I'm your Goldendale Greenhand treasurer.
Hi, I'm Emily Wooden, and I'm your 2025-2026 Green Hand president. Hi, I'm Sophia Jackson. I'm your Green Hand state secretary. And this is Lily Oswald. Hi, I'm Liliana Oswald. I am your Green Hand reporter. And I'm Randy Krieg. I'm their FFA advisor.
Welcome.
I'm not sure. It might be that shipper. Sorry, we're working on it.
It's all right.
It's not sharing our other stuff.
You can tell them why you're presenting for them better.
So,
Yeah.
as Goldendale, we compete at the state level for national champ. And throughout that, we made it in the top finalists for our state. So now we get to go to nationals and compete against 5 other states to get first place nationally.
Kind of what Daniel said, we are competing as middle schoolers because we qualified as middle schoolers. Not me to correct Daniel, but there's 5 schools total, so we'll be competing against another 4 middle school teams who are also a freshman this year, but we're qualified as middle schoolers, so technically we're there as middle schoolers, but we're also a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your presentation about in general?
So we made our presentation about different quality standards. So we have a application we have to go through and there's 15 quality standards and we have to create an event for each quality standard. So we picked our top 5, 8, 9. We picked our top 9 events that we wanted to present about.
So to add on what Emily said, for us being, me, Emily, and Sophia being up here, there is 5 of us officers. We have 2, as in Lily, but only 3 are allowed on stage. So throughout the year, so Shelby and Lily are adding on to this presentation, but they won't be presenting to nationals.
There. There it goes.
There we go.
Mhm.
Welcome aboard our Goldendale Middle School FFA Express. Before we get into our journey, let me share you where it all began. This is our Goldendale Science Ag teacher, Randy Creek. She teaches 73 students from grade 7 to 8 throughout a semester to a year-long course.
Our track began 10 years ago with an addition of a second ag teacher in our district. And in 2020, we proudly launched our FFA chapter, giving our middle school level students a chance to learn leadership, advocacy, and hands-on agricultural learning. And even though our school's enrollment has declined, our momentum hasn't slowed down. With 65% of students enrolled in an ag class, our program continues to thrive, reflecting the heart of our rural community rooted in hay, wheat, cattle, grapes, and timber.
Mm.
From natural resource science to ag leadership and advocacy, our program builds skills that go far beyond the classroom. With 5 dedicated FFA officers and a diverse student membership, we are proud to be shaping the next generation of agriculture leaders right here in our very own community of Goldendale. Now hang on, we're headed full steam ahead into our chapter's latest adventures.
Next up, the Communication Express. This year, our chapter wanted to explore one of the most important things in our school, communication. We had our students take a self-evaluation so they can struggle their strongest abilities. Guided by our leadership track, we planned 3 exciting games along the way. A Mad List for writing, a sales pitch for real abilities, and a cup game for auditorial skills.
These steps were tied directly to our Growing Leaders Career Success, Growing Leaders Leadership Quality Standards event, helping our members collaborate, make decisions, and clearly communicate. Our train ride ran on schedule, prepping supplies, guiding over 70 passengers, our FFA members, through these fun student-led stations, and each rider completed a reflection ticket to track their growth from departure to destination. From the conductor's seat to the caboose, chapter members did it all, from planning, leading, to adapting. We even exceeded our participation goal and created a train-themed bulletin board to celebrate the journey. This wasn't just an event, it was a forward of growth, leadership, and teamwork. Next up, confident, career-ready communicators.
Unlocking your potential. This ride focused on the personal growth of multiple intelligences. We started by having our students take a self-evaluation to discover their strongest and weakest abilities. By playing and creating games, all tying directly to our Growing Leaders personal growth standard.
From researching tools to design interactive games like charades and scavenger hunts, every part of this train was member-led. Our original ticket goal was 25 riders, but we exceeded that goal with 28 game creators and 72 players. At the final stations, our members created Canvas-style Instagram posts reflecting on what they had learned throughout the journey, which we proudly displayed on chapter social media and school TV. Every part of this ride was student-driven. From planning and teamwork to executing and reflecting. We exceeded our goal and even added bonus cars with more games and players than expected. This trip wasn't just about fun. It was about discovering who we are and how we grow. Full steam ahead to more confident stuff for our future.
Next stop, Career Junction. This year, our chapter wanted to explore one of the most important things in our school. To explore the 12 agriculture career pathways. Designed with a custom Guess Who game featuring those career pathways. Through a fun and engaging way, we wanted to find jobs that align with our students' interests. We had them by researching and developing jobs based on their results, from food stylists to ag pilots.
Our Growing Leaders Career Success Committee members used this research to design a custom Guess Who game featuring 25 ag careers, 5 more than planned. Finally, our members played the game and reflected on the career they'd like to explore further, with 92% saying that they now plan on continuing researching agricultural career pathways. We wrapped up with a bulletin board sharing these reflections with our school. This event helped members develop career readiness and self-awareness. At Career Junction, we didn't just learn about agricultural careers, we learned how we could fit into them someday.
Next stop, the depot dedication. This year, our chapter realized that even the smallest things, like cans and bottles, can make the biggest differences for our community. Making a switch from foam to recyclable containers, we realized our local soup kitchen needed help. So we launched Cans for Containers to turn trash into treasure for our community.
Our original goal was 50 members participating, but we exceeded that goal with 67 FFA members and 21 community members participating in collecting recyclable containers. Through 3 return trips, we were able to raise $386, nearly doubling our original goal. With those funds, we were able to purchase and donate 1,700 eco-friendly containers, which was enough to serve meals for nearly a month. In total, members dedicated over 170 hours to collecting, sorting, and delivering, proving our commitment to service and sustainability. At Career Junction, at the Depot of Dedication, we didn't just recycle. We restored hope, proving how small actions can create a big impact for those around us.
Next stop, the Carb Connection, where hearts were warmed and hands were busy. This year for Valentine's Day, our chapter grouped up with our local senior center to host Blooming Bond River Lunch to show appreciation to our senior center through hands-on cards and crafts and lunch service. Our goal to get over 50 seniors to agree with us through the Build a Communities citizenship event.
Our FFA members created 109 unique Valentine's Day cards and delivered them with kind words and warm smiles. At the luncheon, 60 seniors were served by 9 FFA members, with 7 of the members leaving the candy roast craft using floral squares from the classroom. This event didn't just give up our time, it gave seniors companionship and purpose, also giving us perspective. With over 84 hours of service, we left the station knowing that this connection was built to last. At the Cars Connection, we didn't just stop. We sped past and made meaningful memories for the generation that still has so much more to teach us.
Next stop, the Dine and Carve collaboration, where agriculture meets education over a hearty meal. This year for National Ag Day, our chapter grouped up with 2 local Grange groups to host Setting the Table Together, a community dinner designed to celebrate and educate together. We taught over 103 of our local community members the top 5 Washington commodities, from butter making to wheat sorting.
After earning 5 stamps from 5 different stations, our members enjoyed a free meal from the very commodities they just learned about: beef, dairy, wheat, apples, and potatoes. With 35 FFA members and 15 Grace participants, we more than doubled our original goal and logged 210 hours of meaningful collaboration. But more than just time, we built bridges between organizations, generations, and between producers and consumers through this Building Community Stakeholder Engagement event. This is a reminder that FFA is a shared table, and when everyone works together, we all have a seat.
Next stop with the Strengthening Agriculture Support Group event, Flowers with Friends, a floral workshop designed to show appreciation to our local individuals and businesses that support us year-round. Just like a well-oiled train, every part of this ride was member-led. From designing flyers to delivering thank you ranges, this shows that agriculture is more than fields and tractors. It's about creativity and community.
Guided by local florists, our members and supporters work together to create beautiful mason jar arrangements tied directly to our national chapter quality standard, showcasing partnership and gratitude. 43 FFA members helped create 35 thank you arrangements, including 19 for those supporters who could not attend. And while we stayed on track with our goal, we even had a surprise visit from a national FFA officer and staff member, proof that this train had real momentum. In the end, our chapter's teamwork, leadership, and agricultural creativity were the driving force behind this meaningful ride, and everyone on board left feeling valued. The FFA Express is really full steam ahead.
This next event is sweet, Baking for Blue. Under the Baking for Blue Jackets fundraiser, we weren't just mixing batter, we were mixing passion and purpose to ensure every one of our FFA members could wear the blue jacket with pride. To raise over $900 so every one of our FFA members could afford official attire.
We exceeded that goal by $277, picking up 21 dozen desserts and selling out in just 3 hours. From no-bake cookies to dip strawberries, our members learned real ag business skills like teamwork and money management, all while supporting chapter recruitment. Why this event? Because wearing the blue jacket builds pride and purpose. The bake sale wasn't just about cookies, it was about helping members feel like they belong. And just like conductors on a train, our members ran every part of the operation, from planning, baking, and counting the cash in the Strengthening Agriculture Chapter Recruitment event. Yes, this journey took a few surprise turns, like 7 members joining just help, even though they didn't need jackets. But that's what FFA is all about. Stepping up, working hard, and supporting each other. The FFA Express is rolling full steam ahead, and it's powered by community, commitment, and cookies.
Emily, Sophia, let's keep going on this leadership chat with the Ag Ed Express Destination Teach Ag Olympics. This year, our chapter hit out with a mission to inspire the next generation of agriculture teachers through the Teach Ag Olympics. We're through hands-on stations and meaningful connections. Our goal to get 5 agriculture teachers to teach 5 unique stations and then go over 50 students from across our district.
But we didn't just meet those stops. We sped past them, with 7 ag teachers and a CTE paraprofessional stepping up to create 8 different unique stations from animal vaccinations to pork cut ID. And 67 students from 8 different chapters joined us along for the ride, including some who drove themselves there just to be a part of it. This event wasn't just for our students. It was ran by our chapter, with our officers keeping everything on track by coordinating emails and flyers. And the result, 32 students expressed interest in teaching ag, and most planned and enrolling classes after attending. Every station, every purpose helps show that teaching agriculture is more than a job. It's a powerful way to strengthen its future. That Express is rolling full steam ahead, and it's powered our tomorrow's ag leaders through this strengthening agricultural advocacy event.
Thank you for joining us on our Golden Middle School FFA Express. We hope you enjoyed the ride and we'd be happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Well, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Good job.
You guys are great
Thank you,
public speakers.
That
I
was
could
great.
take some lessons from you. Great. Anybody have any questions for our FFA team?
I do. With your extra money that you made, I heard specifically one of them, you made 200 and some odd dollars more. What are you planning to spend that money on?
So with the Bacon for Blue Jackets fundraiser, it was to help buy jackets, but also if kids are missing shoes or need an extra dress shirt, we do keep them and we bought them just to help.
Awesome. Great. Thanks.
Wonderful. Wow, so proud of you guys.
Mhm.
I was an FFA when I was in school too. That was when Randy's dad was my teacher then. Mr. Yeah. Great. Well, that was so great. Anybody else have any questions for these guys?
I just have a comment. I want to say how proud I am of you guys too. Thank you. You're just what we need going on in this town, and it's so great to see that you're gonna be the example for the up and coming young ones come. So I'm so glad you did this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. We really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, great job.
Hopefully you guys are excited about this Friday.
Yes.
The pig, we have 2 participants here.
Right. Oh, you're in on that too, right? No, oh, great.
Bring your pocket change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming. That was a great presentation. You guys did a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
All right. That was wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda on department reports. And we'll start over here with Fire Chief Noah Holm.
I'm definitely not gonna beat that.
No, they were great.
So everybody probably aware, the burn ban has been lifted, for the whole county as well as the city limits. Burn permits can be, picked up at, City Hall. And, just be careful, it is still dry out there.
Yes. It doesn't mean just go willy-nilly with the burning, right?
Watch the wind.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything else, Noah?
No, that's it.
Thanks, Noah. City Administrator Sandy Wells.
On our next meeting, we should have the third quarter budget update. She was gonna do it tonight, but there has been a computer issue. We had a server update and that kind of left her where she couldn't use her computer, so that'll be probably the next meeting, and then you'll be getting an email for the budget committee and the ordinance committee. We have a couple items that we need to go through on both of those, and so we'll be sending out an email to coordinate those meetings with everybody. Cause there's a couple committee members that's not here, so we'll send out that email.
Yes, so if you're on the budget committee or the ordinance committee, be expected. I mean, we'll need to set up meetings for both of those committees.
Yep,
Thanks, Sandy. Anything else?
nope, that's it.
Okay. Okay, great. We'll move on to the next item on our agenda under council business. This has to do with the critical areas update. We talked about at the last city council meeting that, we're required to update our critical areas ordinance. And, joining us on the Zoom is Ethan Spoo from, the DOWL. Ethan, are you on the line?
I'm here. Can everybody hear and see me?
Yes. Yes, thanks,
Very good.
Ethan. I'll let you go ahead and take it away if you could explain that. I'll give a brief explanation. Attached, we have 2 quotes regarding the update on the critical areas ordinance. One quote has best available science report included in the price, and one has it removed. The staff would like a consensus from the council to determine which scope of work they would like us to contract with, and Ethan's on the Zoom to answer any questions about the critical areas update. And, once the staff gets a consensus from the council, we can have a contract at the next meeting for approval. So I'll go ahead and hand it off to you, Ethan. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and City Council. As mentioned, my name is Ethan Spoo. I am a land use planner with a consulting firm in Vancouver called DOWL, DOWL. I have actually worked with the city before. I was working, I'd consulted with the city back in 2019 to help you prepare a broadband plan. And I was with a different firm at that time, but I'm now with DOWL. And I have worked on a number of different critical areas ordinance updates, mostly in Western Washington, but also including updating Spokane Valley's critical areas ordinance update. We're currently working on Skamania County's critical areas ordinance update, as well as the city of Washougal's update. And so, as the mayor mentioned, there's 2 quotes before you tonight. One, and you'll see different prices on these. The first one is a quote that does not include best available science report in it. That's why you see a smaller price tag on that one. That one's $54,975. And then the second one does include the best available science report, and that's $84,840. So really the only difference between those 2 scopes is that best available science report. And you might also know that, it sounds like you spoke about this in your prior meeting, but you might also know that the state of Washington has given the city a grant in the amount of $20,000 to complete this update, that you can apply toward this amount, and to get this work done. And I think what the main sort of thing that I was asked to explain, and that you should know, is just that the Department of Commerce that the city has contracted with for that grant money does not require you to prepare a best available science report. That's not one of the deliverables under the grant, so it's not required by the grant. However, if you look in the statutes, RCW 36.70A.172, it requires that agencies show how they're including the best available science in their critical areas ordinance. So we typically do that, even though it's not a grant requirement. If you remove the report, what that does is it means that the city would have a little bit less leeway and flexibility to apply science in a locally specific way. and would have to take the state's guidance off the shelf. So the state has guidance that talks about what the buffers for streams would be and what the buffers for wetlands would be. And so, without that best available science report, you'd be applying the buffers from the state guidance just kind of as the state has written them, which you might choose to do anyways, but that best available science report helps you get a little bit more of a locally specific application of the science. So that's essentially the choice in front of you tonight, is whether you want to well, number one, if you have questions about that I can answer, but as the mayor said, that looking for your input as to whether you would want a contract with or without that best available science report. So with that, I'll take any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Yes, Theon, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, yeah, I was wondering, so that's a $30,000 report is what you're saying, roughly.
Yes.
And as far as what science, I'm just curious, what science is this? Would this help us in the future, like, you know, according to building in certain flood zone areas, or like, you know, with the Native American tribal finding, you know, what is the SAP, SEPA? Or am I saying that wrong? SEPA reports or?
SEPA, yeah. So it won't help you if the question is whether or not you'll be able to sort of more freely build in flood hazard areas or flood zones, FEMA flood zones. It won't really help you do that because there's requirements from FEMA through the National Flood Insurance Program that you have to implement in your code. So it won't help.
Wouldn't help?
Not for flood areas specifically. What it might do is help you establish more locally specific wetland and stream buffers. So that really kind of be mostly what the purpose of the report would be.
So those aren't considered critical areas?
They are. The stream buffers and the stream buffers and the wetland buffers are both critical areas.
Right, and the science would, you know, having the science in a report would help, you know, any future growth in those areas or any future cleanups or changes, because we've got, you know, we're looking at a pretty good cleanup all the way down the little Klickitat from Mill Street to the other side of town, like, but nothing can be really done in those areas or built because it is kind of considered still like the flood zone area. And I thought, I don't know, I was listening to you talk, I was like, oh, this could really help us with a lot of those grants and things like that. But if you're saying that that's not really gonna, the science that's gonna be in the report, so I guess a $30,000 report, what critical areas is it targeting, and I guess what science are they talking about then?
Yeah, I mean, all good questions. There's 5 different types of critical areas: wetlands, habitat areas, frequently flooded areas, geologically hazardous areas, and what are called critical aquifer recharge areas, which are drinking water aquifers. So those are kind of your standard 5 categories of critical areas. So the report would talk about each of those. And then it would demonstrate that you've included the best available science in your ordinance update, or if there was some locally specific reason not to deviate from that science, the report would also talk about that. So typically that report includes scientific documents that are applicable throughout the state. There's probably more than 100 sources that are used in it. And that way, if somebody were to challenge you on this critical areas ordinance, you could say, this is why we did this and how we included the science. So that's the real purpose of the report is putting on the record what scientific sources you included in your ordinance so that everybody knows what was considered.
Yes, Danielle.
Thank you. So have we had one of these done before here? And if so, how long ago? And if not, how long would this one last for before it would be obsolete?
Yeah, you guys are asking all the hard questions, all the big questions. So I can't tell you if that report has been done before. It should have been done. I believe the city's ordinance, the first ordinance that was put in place might have been around 2005, which is typically when most critical areas ordinances around the state were first adopted. So at that time, the city should have done one. But it's a little unclear to me if that's in the records or not. And I'm not sure if the city administrator Wells can help answer that question or not, if she's ever run across it. So I guess but then to answer your second question about, how long is this good for? It's good until the science is updated again. And then it would, in the next update, which is 10 years from now, it would have to be updated again. So basically it would be good for about 10 years. And in that intervening time between now and 10 years, science is constantly changing, I guess, is kind of the way to put it. And so that would have to get captured again, updated again, in another 10 years. So just to give you sort of an example of that, for many years, probably since the early 1990s, the state was using a paper that for stream buffers, they were using a paper from the early 1990s. And then the state did a new major update of Best Available Science in 2020 that recommends different buffers. So basically for that 30-year period, everybody was using kind of the same science. But that's for stream buffers, but that's recently been updated in 2020. So wetland buffers were updated in 2022. The state updated the collected new science on that. So it's not necessarily sort of an even interval of time. It's just kind of when they have funding, when new science is completed by whoever does it, universities or individual scientists or whatnot, that gets updated. But usually you're not required to update that until your next periodic update, as I said, which would be in the year, which would be in 2036, 10 years from when this update is due.
Yes, Steve.
Excuse me for being blunt here, Nathan. But this sounds to me like a bunch of unnecessary state government regulation. Mainly because all it does is overlap our shoreline management. It's just redundant, is what it is. And like I say, excuse me for being blunt, but that's what I'm seeing here. It's just gonna cut, it's unfunded mandate from the state, which they love to do that. Personally, I wouldn't support it for 5 seconds. So
The shoreline master plan you're referring
I'm
to.
referring to that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. All this does is a footnote to the shoreline management plan.
Agreed.
Can you explain the difference between well, I know we talked about it before, Ethan, the difference between the shoreline master plan and the critical areas ordinance, and how the state requires the critical areas ordinance on top of that?
So your shoreline mass program, as you know, was updated a couple of years ago. That applies to areas within 200 feet of the river. But it doesn't apply outside that area. So if you have critical areas outside of the shoreline master program area, you know, which as I said is essentially 200 feet from the river, that could be, it might not be streams, but it could be wetlands or geologically hazardous areas or critical aquifer recharge areas. Then that's what the critical areas ordinance that we're talking about updating tonight would address. So two different areas and two different regulations for those areas. But there's a lot of similarity between them because the Shoreline Master Program does have some critical area provisions in it, but it can't regulate outside that at 200 feet.
Thanks, Ethan. Yes, Steve, hello.
Nathan, it's me again. So in other words, this is the state trying to expand on its regulation and jurisdiction for our shoreline management plan. Even though this particular area, the town's been here for 150 years, and that area you're talking about hasn't changed in 150 years. State doesn't matter, right? They don't care about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the concerns here about overregulation, and I just want to emphasize that I'm not the state and I don't make the regulations. I'm just here to help you comply with those. But the sort of the origin of critical areas regulations goes back to, you might have heard the Growth Management Act, might have heard that term spoken about back to the early 1990s. So critical areas regulations have been in place, or critical areas requirements for jurisdictions have been in place since that time. Shoreline Master Program goes back to, or the State Shoreline Management Act goes back to the early 1970s. So it predates critical areas. And yeah, they do overlap in some ways because they're both regulating similar topics, but within different areas. And so that's kind of how it works. And you know, it might be helpful at some point to have the state come in and talk to you about that if you have some other questions about it. But that's kind of the differences between the two.
Well, thank you, Nathan, and I understand I'm talking to the messenger here, and try not to be too tough on you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the questions.
Oh, go ahead, Lauren, you had a question.
If this is only regulating critical areas and we take a 200-foot, is it 200 feet either side of the stream, so 400-foot buffer along the Little Klickitat River, how many acres of critical areas do we have within the city of Goldendale city limits?
Number off the top of my head. I mean, that's something that we would normally look into as part of this project, but
Oh, I just would have been worked into the cost estimate, knowing how much work there was to be done.
Absolutely.
yeah, no, it's not necessarily about the amount of critical areas that you have. I mean, there is a relationship there, but it's about having a code that addresses all those types of critical areas.
Is it pretty boilerplate? I mean, if we're not going with best available science and we're just taking the state's regulations off the shelf, is it, I mean, it must be pretty boilerplate to apply to all those areas and similar for most cities, right? It's off the shelf.
Yeah, it can be pretty similar, not necessarily exactly the same, because the way your ordinance is written now might not be exactly the same as other cities' ordinances. So we have to sort of splice in what those requirements are into your existing ordinance, make sure that it's addressing all of them.
Yeah, that gets to another concern of mine, that we don't know whether the previous ordinance was done with best available science or with the boilerplate off the shelf language. And without knowing that, it's hard to make a decision on how we go forward, because if it was already off the shelf, then that makes sense. If we paid for and maintain that local control the best available science offers, it's a shame that we would just chuck that and go with the off the shelf language. And so I think finding an answer to that would be an important process in making a decision here. But I also wonder how this contract was advertised. Was it an RFP, an RFQ, and how many respondents you had?
Sandy, can you address that question? I know we reached out to a couple different places about it that
We don't have to advertise if the contract itself is under $100,000. Then we can, so we did ask the company that did it the last time, which was in 2020. Which was Ethan, he was just with a different company at the time. They sent us back a contract for $99,000. And so then, just by chance, Ethan happened to reach out to the city and said he was working with a different company. We asked him to give us a quote, and these are the two quotes that he gave us. Their quote, I don't think had the best available science that I saw, but they put that in there. But all the other criterias were the same.
And Steve's right, it's a state mandated, but it's partially funded state mandate. They set aside $20,000 to go towards the cost of the critical areas ordinance update.
Just seems like something that's done routinely. I like this requirement, have it updated. It's a lot of small cities out there. There must be a lot of folks that are doing this, even though we're not required to put it out for bid over $100,000. It might be the wise thing to do. That's all the thoughts, comments I have.
Appreciate it. Fiona had her hand up. Fiona, did you have a comment or question? Is she trying to talk?
Yeah, she's just getting it off of mute.
Oh, okay.
We cannot hear you.
You're still on mute.
Does she have to take herself off of mute?
She does. It will
Yeah.
let us mute people, but it won't let us unmute people. You can say ask to unmute and it might.
Can she still hear us?
Yeah.
She's-
In the meantime, did
There you
any?
go.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
hear me now?
Okay, yes.
So,
You know? That was weird. Okay. It was, I don't have the option to unmute on my phone anymore.
Oh,
Mute. It
We can
came
hear
up
you
in a
now.
box. Okay. So I was kind of piggybacking off something that Lauren said. So I think it's really important for us to look at what we currently have. Because I have not seen it and I don't know where our critical areas are. I know there's that little flood zone kind of by the Grange that needs to be dealt with, but that should already be on there. That's been happening for that building's been there 100 years, like Steve said. We know the same problems. So I'm wondering what we already have. I think as a council, we should look at that. I kind of want to know more about, obviously this is mandated. We have to do it. We're getting 20 grand toward it. So I want to know what's in the report without the science. Are they just going to go around and update? Do they already know where? I'm curious where they're at in this process. Like, they have a plan to go throughout the entire city limits and tell us? Or are they going to go off the old one anyway and start there? And then give us, like, take that report and just add anything new to it, which I'd like to know what's in it. The other thing is, he said he was working with Washougal, and that triggered, the mayor of Washougal is one of our representatives for our district, or I mean, our county. Correct?
I'm thinking of White Salmon.
I'm pretty sure it was either, no, it was Washougal. He's the mayor of Washougal and may still be. Help me out here.
Well,
Danielle.
Washougal's in Clickitat County.
No, she said our state representative.
Oh, yes.
Representative.
There's one from,
No, she's correct. David
What was that?
Stevens from Washougal.
oh, I thought it was from Carson.
No, that's Kevin Waters.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Yeah, that's correct, Stephen.
Okay, so was the mayor, is still the mayor of Washougal? I'm not sure. But so he's working on theirs. I know he can't probably say anything, Ethan, but I'm assuming he might be able to talk to us as a city and let us know a little bit more about what the state is looking for here, or so I suggest we maybe see if we can do a video conference with him, or have him join one of our city council meetings to talk to us a little bit more about why we're being mandated to do this and what they're wanting out of it. And if they really need that science report, I mean, that's a $30,000 report. We can't even take care of the ordinance that we have for our dogs in this town. I mean, we have an ordinance that says dogs have to be licensed, and we have nothing to follow up on that with. We can't even afford to have an enforcer for that ordinance. So this is another thing. I mean, obviously we have critical areas that need to be dealt with, yes, but I don't know. We don't have it in our budget. We don't have it in our budget, even with a $20,000 help, grant help. So I would like to talk to the state a little bit more. Thank you, Steve. And thank you, Ethan, for recommending that, because I know it's not him. He's just helping, right? Anyway, I think that's all I have to say right now.
Okay, thanks, Dion. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Ethan?
And this price is over a 2-year time frame.
Yes, that's a good point. So we can, if council would like to propose a path moving forward and get a resolution on that, whatever it may be, if you would like us to go with one of the proposals here, or if you would like us to pursue other avenues or get more information for you, we're open to suggestions on a resolution to move forward.
I think that for sure we need to find out whether or not we've had this in the past. And if so,
The science report.
the science report in the past.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't have to have it for the future, and if we have it in the past, that's great. That's just a bonus thing, but I personally don't see any additional need for it that I've heard yet.
Mhm.
That might change if we do have one and we see something different comparing it to the rest of the reports. But I think that needs to be our first option.
I'd like to know whether cities of a similar geographic size have recently completed this and what their costs were.
Okay. Anybody else have any input? Another thing that I might bring up is Clickitat County is currently in the process of updating their critical areas ordinance as well. Sandy and myself and Doug, we met with the planning department at Clickitat County, talking about possible collaboration there. Unfortunately, they had some things going on with theirs that would make that not doable at the moment, but they're still And if Ethan's still on, maybe you could talk about the possibility of adopting another areas ordinance by resolution, I think they talked about. But we didn't get a full explanation on that yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's an option for you as well. That is something that came about in the last couple of years. So, certain counties in the state that are called partially planning counties, which is Clickitat County, and the cities within them can, the cities are permitted to adopt the county's critical areas ordinance rather than have one of your own. So you can do that. And that would meet the state requirements. There's pros and cons to doing that. The pro would be that it's probably less cost to do that, but the con, the main con, I guess, to doing that would just be that you'll be adopting whatever the county comes up with, right? They're not gonna customize that for you. So you'd have to live with whatever they come up with, essentially. Unless there's for some reason willing to adjust it for you. And I think the mayor and I and city administrator talked about that a little bit, but that's certainly something that you can look into. My understanding is that Clickitat County's SEPA is currently being challenged by I think it might be the Yakima Nation. So that was making that option not immediately possible for you, but I don't have all the information on that, but that was what my understanding was.
That was my understanding when we met with the Clickitat County Planning Department. Is currently theirs is being challenged, and so that creates issues with us adopting theirs, being as how theirs is being challenged.
When is theirs supposed to be completed?
I don't know that.
Same as ours. It's a two-year time frame. So they have deliverables for the end of 26 and then some again for 27.
Do we know if they are wanting to do the available science report?
When we asked Lori, I don't remember if she said that, but they were doing that. I think they were just doing the state standards, but because I don't remember her saying that they were gonna do that, because we'd asked her about that and she wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, that was one of the things is, the question that I had is if the best available science report is something that should be done, but the state doesn't require us to do that. So that was kind of one of the things I was trying to wrap my head around in some of the meetings is if it's so important, why doesn't the state require it?
And if they do require it, why doesn't, I mean, if the county has to do it, why would we also have to do it?
Yeah.
I think that you can take the stuff off the shelf and it's gonna be the most restrictive ordinances that you can imagine. And if you wanna try and make those less restrictive for some reason, you're gonna have to use best available science to explain why. And in a lot of cases, it may make sense. In Eastern Washington, low precipitation, we have some different things than they have on the west side, and they're, I don't know if they have it east versus west side, off the shelf boilerplate, manual or guidelines. But what you're gonna see off the shelf is gonna be extremely restrictive, and if you wanna be less restrictive, whether it's to promote development or to meet your local conditions, then you're gonna have to use best available science to prove out why that's justifiable.
But can we think of anything right now in the next 2 years? Because it has to be redone every 2 years, yes? 10. Okay,
We
okay.
just have 2 years to get it done.
I got you. Okay, got confused a second there. But even so, in the next 10 years, can we foresee anything that we might have to be worried about something like that for?
I would like to see a summary of what this affects within this city of limits of Goldendale.
Yeah.
Because I suspect it's a very small.
Small, exactly. I suspect that as well.
Not only that, even though the county is in some sort of a situation regarding the tribe, we have a similar situation here with along with Clickitat because of SEPAs we've had to do because of the archaeological approaches we've had to do
Mhm.
regarding tribal interests and everything, so I'm all for, let's try to hang in there with the county and see if we can make something come of that.
I think there's a strong possibility too, that maybe the tribe or other parties have issues with something along the Columbia or the white salmon, that it doesn't even affect us, and so we could just remove that portion of it
Absolutely, what he said.
and adopt everything but that, but we would need to know what the issues are
Yeah.
that are being brought, what the SEPA comments are.
So let's not write a check right away.
Agreed. So basically, I guess we just need a little bit more information before we can make an informed decision.
Fiona, did you have a comment or question?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Steve, for bringing that up, because that was what I was gonna say. If we do, decide to go through with this, I mean, so this mandate apparently doesn't have a. You're saying we have 2 years to accept this bid. Does that mean that the state is saying we have 2 years to get this done? And if so, it's highly important that we work directly with the Native Americans that we have here, the Kamipa, or exactly what Lauren just said. If they can get it worked out with Yakima Nation, then yes, let's adopt that and take out what does not suit the town. But let's just say when we do our report, even without the science, we are making sure that we're actually working with our local tribes so that we don't have any issues as we do this report or as we create this ordinance. Do you feel me? Or is that making sense? That's the biggest problem that we've had with the Yakima Nations. We don't approach them when we're working on the project. We do it first and then we just throw it in their face, and they don't like that. They want to be part of it from the very beginning. So this is an issue of their land too, and so that's why there's been so much conflict, I believe, in the past, is they are not approached at the time of initial planning. So if we are going to do this report and pay to have this done, I think it's vital that they are part of the voice that is in the initial stages of the document. That's all.
So it does have to be done in 2 years, but there's a checklist for year 1 and year 2. So there is deliverables that they need for each year.
Yeah, they break it down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the grant.
for the grant, yeah. It seems like we're getting a consensus to compile some more information on the topic, see some comparables, what other cities our size have done, and maybe seek more input from the county.
And I can email you the current ordinance that we have.
And will that current ordinance say whether or not we do have the best available science report?
It didn't say that.
It didn't, I didn't.
Because the ordinance that changed, it was just what we were updating, and it's several lots of pages.
Okay.
Was there a consultant that worked on it previously? Is there a
Yeah.
report that's available that might detail whether or not?
I didn't find the report, just the ordinance. I can look and see if there's a full report. I just found the ordinance that had what was changed and it was attached. But there was a local consultant that worked on it last.
Right, someone who used to be employed with the city.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, I think we have some marching orders to work on, and thank you, Ethan, for explaining that, and we'll work on some things, get some more information for the council, and work on getting a consensus in the future here.
Yep, we'll get back to you.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thanks for the questions and input. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Did anybody else have anything they'd like to add before we move on? No. Okay, thank you. Thanks so much for your time, Ethan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
helping us wrap our heads around this process.
Anytime. Yeah,
We'll be in touch.
sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda then. And that's a report of officers. And we'll start over here with Danielle Clevidence.
All I have is just, the city's been doing a lot of different things through different initiatives from parties, not specifically just the city, the Chamber of Commerce. You have a lot of different entities. There are nonprofits that have been doing a lot of things lately. And I just want to I want to encourage people to keep that up because it's been so nice to see. Every weekend we've been having things. And that's what our community is it's making me very, very proud to be a part of this community. And let's keep it up.
Great, thanks, Danielle. Ellie,
I've got it.
Lauren.
Just reminder that we're still waiting a couple of years now, maybe for a tour of the watershed infrastructure up there, strengths and weaknesses, watershed conditions, that sort of thing. So hopefully we don't miss another opportunity this fall.
We'll work on it. Thank you.
Fire danger's off now.
Yes, so hopefully, we'll see. As soon as they lifted the burn ban, there was some issues that came up, yeah. Thank you. Still a little dry out there.
Always nice to meet you.
Oh, yes. Theon, did you have a report?
No, I don't. I just want to say, thank you to everybody who put so much effort into the Harvest Festival. I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I wanted to because I was stuck behind the booth when I had a chance to be down there. I really just loved every bit. And again, thank you for bringing that heartbeat to the town. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Theon. Steve?
I just would reiterate what was just said about the Harvest Festival. I think it was a smashing success. I would like to say thank you to the coordinators for obviously all the time and effort that went into putting it together.
They did a great job.
And I understand it was the second annual, so hopefully we get to see that happen each year from here on out, and it just keeps getting bigger and better.
Yes.
It'd be a hard act to follow. No, it was great. Thank you.
Thanks. The only thing I had is in front of everybody is this flyer. The AWC will be having their elected officials essentials training coming up on December 6th. And I'll be reaching out to, as soon as the election happens, I'll be reaching out to the 2 new city councilors that we'll have. But this is also available to anybody currently on the city council. It's a really good training. They're having one in person in Union Gap, will be the closest one to us. I went to it last time and just really good. So if anybody would like to take advantage of that, let myself or Sandy know and we can get you signed up for that. And I'll be reaching out to the newly elected council members as soon as they are elected, which will be shortly.
And I emailed it to you.
Yes. That's great. Okay, well, that's all I had. We'll move on to the next item, open public comment. Anybody like to make a public comment? Any topic? Did you have your hand up, Nancy?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. Oh, you were? Oh, okay. Anybody on the line have their hand up for a public comment?
Nope.
No, nobody does. Okay, we'll close public comment and we're gonna move on to an executive session. So we'll take a brief recess to clear the room for executive session. This executive session has to do with property negotiations as per RCW 42.30.110. And so we'll.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Just the duration of the executive session and the time it will be out.
We have an estimate on the duration of your presentation, Rick, on the executive session.
Not more than about 5 minutes.
But with questions, so
We
probably 10.
better call it 10. We can always extend it if we need to.
7.
Okay, thanks. Well, and when we come out of executive session, we're not anticipating any further motions or business. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
Video one, bottom of the.
Thank you.
That's what I'm showing him.
Yes, that's three.